All right, we're here in the back room of Seneca Shore Wine Cellars, and you can see that winemaking, there's quite a bit of tools laying around. Before we dive into the official thing, there's a lot of tools you guys have here. It's like you got a workshop.
Well, this is a cleaned up, this is where we fix our tractors, and this is cleaned up. We have another shop outside, but in the wintertime this is heated from wood. So we like to fix the tractors in here, and it being Cruising the Tropics, a special event, we've taken the tractors outside.
But to remind people, fixing the tractors, you're a farmer. People forget that sometimes. They think you live in some rarefied air, I think, magically making wine out of magical juice.
Wine comes from grapes, which is a product of the earth, and hopefully you saw our 40 acres of grapes out there that need lots of tender, loving care.
All right, so we're inside. You got this pipe.
You can see these black insulated pipes. That is the hot water coming from the furnace, and the return. And here we have 3 different thermostats. This is 200 degrees coming from the furnace, 200 degrees coming back from a heat exchanger that isn't turned on, and then 190 degrees coming back from the fan housing that heats the domestic hot water and the area heating. So I want to show you, because I know there's some winemakers watching.
We got the little bottling line action here, and a bunch of tanks for those of you that might be able to see it.
This is one of our heat exchangers in our production area, and the reason this is so important is because the hot water from the furnace comes in here and mixes with domestic cold water that we then use to sterilize the bottling line, which is right here. You have to run 180 degree water through your bottling line for at least 20 minutes in order to kill any bacteria and yeast, and that takes up a huge amount of heat. Did you know that to raise 1 gallon of water from 50 degrees to 150 degrees takes about 8,000 BTUs, 800 BTUs, almost 1,000 BTUs just to use a gallon of water to sterilize that, and we have to keep it at that temperature for over 20 minutes. So we probably go through about 200 gallons of water. So that's about 80,000 BTUs we use every day that we bottle.
Which, if you were paying the propane to heat that water, would be a non-trivial expense.
Yeah, it's probably over $100 each time we decide to sterilize our bottling line.
Just to heat the water.
Just to heat the water. Right. So now nature does it almost for free.
Yep.
Really.
Excellent. All right, keep going. Where else are we going to go?
Okay, we're going to go look at the heat exchanger in domestic hot water heat exchangers.
All right, we're coming out into the winery proper now. Seneca Shore Wine Cellars, here we are, where most customers will see this facility.
This is a standard hot water heater that's been retrofitted with a heat exchanger. It's a tube-and-tube heat exchanger. The inside of the tube is the domestic hot water, and flowing around the outside of the tube is the hot water from the furnace. And it works on a convection principle where the cold water enters at the bottom, it gets warmed up by the furnace hot water, and then flows out of the heat exchanger back into the tank hot. It goes in at the bottom cold, comes out at the top hot, and really it's wonderful to use a dishwasher that runs at 180 degrees, 190 degrees, because it sterilizes the dishes without any chemicals. It takes the lipstick right off. We all have had the experience of going into a restaurant and having our spouse or loved one say, "Ew, honey, this restaurant just served me a lipsticky glass," and that's a real date killer.
Yeah, indeed it is.
So anyway, cleaning.
So no lipstick on the tasty glass here at Seneca Shore. Okay.
Well, we hope we get it all. So very hot water does wonderful things to clean that. So I can definitely recommend doing a system like this, saving the money. Like I said, 3-year payback period. It will pay you $20,000 or $30,000 over its lifetime. Plus, it's the right thing to do. Plus, you're out in the middle of winter using wood. We go through about maybe about 15 cords of wood a year. And a normal house, a large house, will use 10 cords of wood. So this is a very well insulated building, and we're having a really good time saving money here.
Well, that's, you know, it's a beautiful thing when you can do the right thing and save money. There's no arguing with it.
What we hope to do in the future is to put out some solar panels, hot water solar panels, because in the summertime, then we don't have that furnace going. So what do we do for domestic hot water? Well, that's when we could use some solar panels, and it being the summertime, we wouldn't need all sorts of fancy controls because it wouldn't be freezing outside, and so the water would not need to withstand freezing. If you want me to get into that, I can.
No, I think we'll wait for that for another YouTube clip.
Very good.
David DeMarco, Seneca Shore Wine Cellars. What's the domain name?
www.senecawine.com.
SenecaWine.com. Are you going to sell that to us someday, David?
Only if you ask.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.